I'm Kritika Aswani, and today I'm here with Francis Lively, the Chief Executive Officer and President of the LCP Group, LP, the real estate investment management firm here in New York City. Welcome, Francis.
Thank you for having me.
So, talk to us a little bit about your firm, the LCP Group, and give us a little understanding of what it is and for how long you've been in business.
Sure, we've been in business a long time. The LCP Group was founded about 45 years ago. We're a real estate investment management firm. We invest in all asset classes in commercial real estate and residential multifamily. And what we do is we source direct real estate investments where we target a outsized risk-adjusted return for our investors. Our investors are institutions, private equity firms, and individuals. In the case of individuals, we target foreign investors interested in investing in U.S. real estate, and we offer them the opportunity to get a U.S. visa if they're interested in a qualified project.
So, Francis, let's talk about the direct investment opportunity. So, what should people be looking for when considering investing in U.S. commercial real estate? And more importantly, what should they look for in an investment partner?
Sure. Let's take the last first. They should look at the experience of their investment partner. So, has the partner invested in these types of assets before? What's their track record? What's the team's experience? LCP excels at that. We've been around for 45 years. We've invested in all types of asset classes with great success. Been involved in public equity transactions as well as private equity. And the second question they should ask is there alignment of interest with their partner? And that often comes down to, is the partner investing in the deal as well? It's important to know that your partner is taking on the same risk that you are. That's the case with the LCP Group. We're an investment manager. We co-invest with our partners. Once you get comfortable with the experience of your partner, you look at the work they've done on the opportunity. Why is it so compelling? What type of return are they offering relative to the risk, and how are they justifying that? At LCP, we do extensive diligence on all of our projects, and we have great experience in structuring deals as well. So we do a comprehensive underwriting to get to our projections. That's based on data. We look at the data and demand in each market to justify whether the real estate opportunity is worthwhile. And then we do extensive physical diligence on properties to ensure that the capital investment is protected. So combining those two things is what any investor should look at. And we feel very comfortable at LCP that we excel at all of them.
So, when it comes to LCP Group, how does LCP stand out amongst other companies that are providing EB-5 visas? Because how does LCP provide higher interest return rate?
Sure. We stand out in a few ways, some of which I've mentioned, but our experience as a real estate investment manager. We're one of the few companies in the space that invests our own money, and we also invest outside of the EB-5 space. So our business is real estate investment management. That's what we know. We've developed an expertise in EB-5 as a method for raising capital for those investors that are interested in the program, and we've combined the two. But we're one of the few companies that has the depth of experience in real estate investment management. How can we offer a higher return? We think the investors deserve a higher return for the risk they're taking. So we structure our deals based on compensating those investors for the risk that they're taking in each deal. And we really are outstanding in that regard. Most projects compared to ours are offering anywhere from 0.25% to 4% returns. Those are sometimes structured as debt, but given the risk of those projects, we think that the deals that we're offering, which are in the mid-teens as equity, are far more compelling.
So, Francis, talk to us about the presence of LCP Group outside of United States.
Sure. Our investment focus is in the United States. That's where our expertise lies, and that's what's attractive to our investment partners. But we have a global presence. We've raised capital throughout the globe in over 20 countries. And today, we have a very strong presence in India. We have 2 people on the ground. That's the most active country in which we're raising capital from individual investors, especially those interested in EB5. But we also have a presence throughout the Middle East with 2 people on the ground in Egypt. We have a partner in Russia that represents LCP's interests there, as well as colleagues in China, Turkey, and Indonesia.
So which country is the most where you get more reception from?
Today it's India.
India.
India has the highest demand and the highest growth for individual investors, especially those targeting EB5.
What does one needs to consider when it comes to picking a partner, an investing partner? So what do you need to consider before picking your investing partner?
Again, the track record, the experience of the team, and their recent performance. So we have a very long track record, over 45 years. We have an investment team that has collectively over 100 years of experience in real estate investing. And we have a very strong track record. LCP has been involved with the formation of 2 publicly traded vehicles in the US over its history. And most recently, we've gone and increased our AUM to where we're now approaching $1 billion in assets under management for various investor clients, both in the US and abroad.
So now moving towards the EB5 program, what does LCP offer in the EB5 program?
Sure. So we source deals that are eligible for the U.S. Visa Investment Program, otherwise known as EB5. These are typically ground-up development jobs, ground-up development opportunities. And the reason for that is the program itself requires job creation, and it requires a minimum investment. Under today's law and rules, that's $500,000. That's expected to go up. So we partner with developers in building real estate assets like a hotel or an apartment building, and then we solicit investors abroad who are interested in that investment and also interested in the ability to obtain a green card.
So we know that when it comes to EB5 visa, people have faced a lot of horrible experiences before. So talk to us a little bit about that, and I want to understand what are some of the changes that are coming in the EB5 program.
Sure. Well, we can't speak to any horrible experiences with our investors. They've all been very successful. Our projects, we've done 15 projects to date, raised over $500 million in EB5 investment capital. And our investors have been satisfied and have been moving through the EB5 investment process. As with any industry, there's exceptions to the rule, and those usually relate to the fundamentals of the underlying deal. And that's where we think we are as good as or have an advantage over any of our competitors because of the depth of our real estate experience.
But what are some of the changes that, and when it comes to
Sure.
the EB5 program, that we would be seeing in the near future
Yeah,
that
sure.
are coming up?
So today, in certain designated areas, the minimum investment amount is $500,000 for an EB5 investor, and the vast majority of EB5 deals are in what are called these targeted employment areas. That minimum investment amount is going to increase to $900,000 in mid-November based on new rules that have been passed. And the designated areas will become more restrictive, so there'll be fewer and fewer deals that are eligible for the minimum investment amount. Now, for investors who are interested today in projects, we have investors looking at one of our projects in Florida. If they do invest prior to that November date, then they'll still be eligible under the original $500,000 amount. So we expect for our projects and other projects a lot of interest for investment coming in over the next 2 months.
And talk to me about the timings, the country limits leading to the EB5 visa.
Sure. The timelines vary depending on the investor and the country in which they were born. Typically speaking, all else being equal, it's roughly 1 to 2 years to get a temporary visa, and then the investor can come to the United States, they can live in the United States, they can work in the United States. The overall period of time until that visa became permanent would roughly range from 4 to 5 years. Certain countries, China most notably, now have a line to obtain a visa. So the program only allows for 10,000 visas a year, and there's a per country limit. China's hit that limit, and so if you're Chinese and applying for EB-5, that 4 to 5 year period has become much longer, more like 15 years based on recent estimates.
What would you say about the Indian community and the Indian?
Sure, India's been a very popular market, and the Indian investor and timeline is starting to lengthen. It's nowhere near China's at this point, but given the popularity and the demand, there is a line for visas forming. What's interesting about the Indian market that's different from China is the vast majority of H-1B visas in the US are Indian nationals, and the line for them to get a permanent green card on H-1B is actually still longer than EB-5. So EB-5 still proves to be an attractive alternative for many Indian investors, and of course it offers far more freedom than the H-1B visa.
Besides the freedom, what are some of the differences between an EB-5 visa and an H-1 visa, which you could explain to our viewers?
Sure. So H-1B visa is a work visa. It requires sponsorship from an employer, and when you get that sponsorship, you're tethered to that employer. So it offers a lot less freedom than the EB-5 visa. EB-5, on the other hand, is based on the investment amount and the qualifications of the underlying project creating the jobs. But once you have that visa, even on a temporary basis, you can live and work anywhere in the United States, and it doesn't have the negative connotation or impact when looking for a job that someone who's relying on the work visa might have with the employer. And that relates to the probability of getting the H-1B visa. It's a lottery. It may be a 30% probability, and companies shy away from investing in workers given they may not be there if they don't get the lottery.
Now, when it comes to H-1B visa, the spouse of the H-1B visa person cannot work because they're on H-4. Now, when someone has an EB-5 visa, how does it go for the family of those individuals?
Sure. It's one application for the family, and the entire family is covered. So that's husband and wife, whoever the applicant is, the other spouse is covered, and their children under the age of 21.
Okay. And tell me if LCP Group can make the process go faster for the EB-5 visa. If someone invests with LCP Group, can they make the process go faster for them?
Well, we certainly can't change the timelines of the process itself, but by investing with LCP, we can provide some assurance to the investor that the project will go through. And we believe that assurance comes from our experience and the projects we select. By way of example, we're building a hotel in southern Florida. That project is fully financed with or without EB-5. The project's already begun, so there's no risk to the investor of the project not beginning on time, the jobs not being created. We are well along in that process at this point.
And what are some of the other projects that LCP Group is working with that people can invest in?
Sure. So we have today actively 2 projects. Both are hotels. One is in Melbourne, Florida. One is in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And those offerings are distinct from other EB-5 offerings in the sense of the return that we offer to investors. So we actually offer equity investments with up to double-digit IRRs in our projections, whereas other EB-5 offerings are more in the range of 0.25% to maybe as high as 4%. They may be structured as debt products, but from our perspective, when you look at the risk-adjusted returns and the risk you're taking in those structures, we think our products are far superior.
So how is LCP one of the only EB5 firms offering a higher return rate?
I think we're pioneering in that, in the sense that we are investors, we think like investors, and we don't see any reason why the opportunity for that return shouldn't be available to EB5 investors. And as I said, we invest side by side with our EB5 investors as partners, and we're going to invest our capital based on a risk-adjusted return that we think is necessary for any given deal.
So Francis, if you're an individual investing with LCP Group, is it necessary to apply for an EB5 visa?
Not necessary at all. EB5 is a complement to what we do. As I mentioned, we're primarily an investment manager targeting real estate and offering attractive risk-adjusted returns to our investors, and that includes individuals. So if you're an Indian national who's looking for exposure to U.S. real estate and don't otherwise have direct access, investing with LCP is a way that you can access those deals and still access the same type of return. Also, if you're not applying for EB5, you don't have the $500,000 minimum investment requirement, which is now going up to $900,000. We'll accept investors as low as $100,000 minimum investment into our projects.
Any word that you want to give out to the viewers out there who are listening to you right now and who want to invest in LCP Group and get EB5 visa? So your thoughts and your words to the viewers who are watching
Sure.
you on ZTV.
I certainly encourage any potential investors who are looking into EB5 as a program to access the United States to consider it strongly. It's a fantastic program. It offers a lot of freedom of movement to work and live where you want to. And I would consider looking at LCP and the products we offer, and encourage you to contact us on the web. And I hope to speak with you about our potential investments.
Well, viewers, if you want to learn more about LCP Group, you can go on their website or contact them via their email address mentioned below on the screen. This is me, Kritika Aswani, signing off. Thank you so much, Francis, for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.